No Box Dance presents Dance Behind the Screen, process production, and social media. Don't forget, say no to the box. Dile no a la caja. 고정관념 이란 상자에서 벗어나세요.
Welcome back to Dance Behind the Screen podcast. This is your host, Marthea. In season 6, our theme is dance and technology. Our goal this season is to talk about how dance can coexist in a world of screens, social media, and interactive and immersive environments. Our guest is the founder and artistic director of TranScend Motion. Welcome to our show, Sarah Tran.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you on the podcast. Sarah and I actually both met because we are TWU Dance MFA alumni. And it has been such a pleasure, Sarah, witnessing your growth, not only just as an artist, but what you've created with TranScend Motion over the years. And I thought to start off our conversation today, it would be great if you could briefly introduce yourself and your company, TranScend Motion.
Yeah, thank you, Marthea. I'm super glad to be here. It's been a dream to be on this podcast. A little bit about myself. I'm Sarah Tran. I am a Vietnamese American dance artist, choreographer. I hold my Master's of Fine Arts and my Bachelor of Arts in Dance Studies from Texas Women's University. Up until current, I was an adjunct professor at University of North Texas, and also previously as well at Texas Women's University. I am currently working as school business manager at Texas Ballet Theater right now. And I am the founder of TranScend Motion. I'm also serving as the artistic director currently. TranScend Motion, it's a creative dance company based in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. It's TranScend kind of focus on making choreographic works across different medium. We do have a focus in the digital film aspect, and then we also focus on the live stage works as well.
I love what you're doing, Sarah. Can you maybe describe the constructed standards in society that you want to work against, and why do you want to work against them?
Yeah, some of the socially constructed standards that I do focus on are not limited to, but specifically issues around mental health, race, and gender equity. So I work a lot with creating movement, generating movement that is informed by trauma, specifically in the 3 area of pain, survival, and healing. I work around those topics and then create movement metaphors, making it into a choreographic work. That's like my focus and my research. So I like to kind of be influenced by those issues in surrounding mental health and gender equity into those choreographic works. And a lot of my works also speaks to about how woman is viewed in society, and then all of the stereotypes as well, and not just so gender and race, as I am Asian American living in America. And certain experience and certain stories I feel are untold at times. So I like to be using dance and choreographic works to bring awareness to those issues. And so those are like some of the issues that I dive into in terms of resisting against it and fighting. I use the metaphor of like currents, because I like currents in the water is like if you're in the water, you just flow with the currents. And I describe that as like the society. You're in the world, your place in the society. It's very easy to just flow with the currents, but how can you fight back the currents? So it takes a lot more effort. It takes it takes some kind of self-awareness and effort to going against it. So I use that metaphor. Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Currents is a title of one of the works that you created as well. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Undercurrents. That's a collaboration work with Annalise Boyston. Yeah.
You talk about this process of pain, survival, and healing. Why are you interested in exploring trauma as a method for creating dances?
Yeah, I personally did not go through like a lot those traumatic experiences that I am speaking to, but I grew up in a family that I have witnessed trauma from other people, from my family members. And so that I describe it as secondhand trauma or secondhand pain. And I have a lot of curiosity around like how does someone else's trauma make me feel, and how does seeing someone else's pain make me feel? And so I kind of question that a lot. And so I use method to explore those questions. So a lot of my work speak to how I view trauma. I don't know, this is hard to explain, but how I view what other people go through, like what I have witnessed and how that make me feel. So I translate that into movement metaphors, basically. Yeah. So it's just being the witnesser. I had a lot of questions around that in my own experience. So how does that affect me? How does that affect other people who are also witnessing this and the relationship that we have? So that's where I was originally interested in the topic.
I appreciate your vulnerability. I guess I never realized I've seen a lot of your work and your dance films, and I didn't realize that's perhaps like a seed for where they might have started.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to learn about that. And it reminds me, I don't know if you're familiar with the work of Bruce Wood Dance Company, but part of their mission, they create a lot of works centered around like dance as healing.
Mm-hmm.
Create, discuss, and advocate for art. No Box Dance.
I'd love to hear more about when you set out to create TranScend Motion. And I ask this question because I'm hoping for our listeners, maybe they can have some insight or some tips on what it's like to create your own dance company. And are there maybe 3 or 4 tips and strategies that have really worked well for you when it comes to building that community?
Yeah. What is it like to creating my own company? I feel like everybody heard this over and over again from everybody, but connection is like the biggest thing. You have to put yourself out there and grow that connection. A lot of time is that I put myself in to go into certain events, go into certain classes, certain shows, put myself out there, talk to people. And then at times I will see, oh, that's the dancer that I really want to work with, or that's the choreographer that I really want to be connected to. So a lot of time I just try to make those connections. And then, so from the beginning of building TranScend since 2020 until now, so it's 3.5 years, I've just build up into this. We're on our season 4 now. And so the people that I've worked with, the people that, not just dancers, but backstage crew or videographer, all sorts of people, I just see who I want to work with, who I'm interested in and their work. Why am I interested in their work as well? So I seize those opportunities to connect with them and then build it in that way. And then, so connection's a huge thing. And so we had auditioned recently, and there was so many people who showed up at auditions, that people that I don't even know about. And so it's all because of connections, like one person to another and then to another and then to another. Like I know this group of dancers. We started out with 6 people. We started out with 6 people, and now we're a lot. Like we had a season, like season 2 was like 14, and then now we have 12. And then audition was huge. We filled up the room. It was like 37 people in there. And a lot of people that like, they just know us through social media, or they know us through words of mouth. So connection's so important. And I think social media is so important too.
Yeah, I want to pause you there. I want to say, first off, congratulations for just the growth of your company in general. But you do a fantastic job on social media with your company, whether it's promoting your work or classes or just showing us the behind the screen of TranScend Motion. So could you maybe share some tips for how you think about creating content? What's your strategy for social media?
Yeah, social media is probably one of the most fun thing for me to work around as well. I work with a company member, Esmeralda Ledesma. She's a dancer currently. She's on her third season with us now, and she's helping me with social media. She's doing a really good job. We divide it out. I will do like more of the graphics, the flyers, the events, and then she will do the behind the scene, the reels, the stories. So we divide it out in that way. She's done a great job at capturing vlogs when we go travel to perform. So we went to Houston, College Station, and recently Waco. She's doing all the behind the scenes stuff. So it's not all the time dancing footage, but also like fun footage, like driving to somewhere or having a company like bonding and we're just getting tacos and then she's filming all of us. Or in rehearsals as well. So we try to, for rehearsal, for dance content wise, we love to promote the stuff that are going on stage, but also the stuff that's in the studio as well. So like in the choreographic process, how the rehearsals goes. Sometimes we just film like a 10-second clip and then post it on Instagram Reel, because Instagram has those reel that actually like randomly would show up on anybody's explore page. So I think it's a really good platform to promote like very short little of the work or of rehearsals that you can promote your company in that way. And that's how I guess more people would know of the company and then click on the profile, check it out, and then eventually the website and more and so on. So I think that's a really great platform. I think also now the trend is that people like to see something short, especially if they're on their phone. So like a 10 seconds clip, it's very helpful. It's been effective for us. We post a lot of little rehearsals clip or like even past performance. Sometimes I would just pull out a past work from 2 years ago to post 10 seconds from it. I think keep posting little content, little clips of choreographic contents like that. I think it gets people to be more interested and you can pick your best part, your best 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How do you pick what little 10 seconds that you want to show? Are there specific things you're looking for? I can speak from my own experience. Sometimes it's like a cool partnering move or like interesting perspective of something that you might not see in the live performance to capture it on video. But what are you looking for?
Yeah, I think.
And what gets the most likes and saves and shares?
Yeah, very similar to that. That is the cool partnering trick or a big group thing. And I think something that's very effective for us too is that we do quick. Okay, I said 10 seconds clip before, but it could also be like 15 seconds of 3 little clips. Like people like to see the switches, the cut, the quick, like from one thing to another. So almost like a trailer, I guess you would say, but shorter. And then because of the reel format on Instagram, you can use, and Facebook and TikTok, but you can use like the vertical scale. So that's make your video zoomed in a little bit more and it filled up the screen. I think for me personally, that's something super intriguing. If I see, cause I think I saw it on other dance companies too. That's how they do it. And so that's something that I'm super interested in. It makes me be like drawn into whatever the video is showing, even though it's really short. So yeah, that's what we usually do. And I think sometimes it's time consuming to pull and edit, but I think having the time to put that together and post it like maybe not every day, every other day or things like that, that's super effective. The more content you create and post, the more people can it can reach more people if you keep feeding out the content every day. So that's what we try to do.
Social media impacted how you're thinking about creating your dances for live performance or your dance films?
My dance film for sure. I think for live performance as well, I think there has to be some kind of impact for me personally. I think that social media helps me keep up with what is trendy, what are other interested in, and what kind of audience are interested in what as well. And then also because there's so many things that that is being put out on social media, I also question, what am I interested in? So what do I want to focus on rather than what's everybody else is doing? And so there's so much content. There's so much things that's going on in the social media world. And those questions, seeing all of it helped me question myself. What is this the kind of work I want to put out, or what direction do I want to put out, but could also be a little bit more differently in a creative ways, and also keep up with the trendy stuff. What are people into these days? What kind of movement or music, even, for example, viewers are more prone to be drawn to? So those are things I ask with social media.
Don't forget to say no to the box.
What are the trends that you're seeing right now on social media as it pertains to dance content? And what are trends that maybe you think are really interesting and that you're exploring for yourself? And what are trends that you wish would stop?
I think trends that are really interesting is seeing, like I said, seeing those little clips of full, like works that could be like 30 minutes, evening length, but they just show like 10 seconds and I'm drawn to it already. I want to find out who this company is. So seeing those really interests me. So I want to do the same for mine as well. And then in terms of filmmaking, seeing trends like jump cuts, close up shots, different like camera movement, for example. I think there's so much you can play with, and seeing those are very interesting for me. And then like architecture, locations of like, maybe I don't live in the same area as, what I see on this video, but how can I find something that I can also play with in the same concept? So there's very interesting like architecture play. Someone that I'm super interested in is Mike Tyers from
Jonas's company.
Yeah, Jacob Jonas' company. He has some like very interesting video dance on screen camera movement going on. And he just posts 10 seconds or less of a clip here and there. And those are very interesting for me. And then trends that I would like I don't want to see anymore is, let's see. I don't know. This might, it maybe like the same dance choreography over and over again. I don't know who made this choreography, who came up with this, but I keep seeing different people doing the same like combo or section to a song over and over again. It's great. And some people are really great performers, but I would love to see like the creative side of like different, how to create like dance on screen rather than just showing the same movement. Like super trendy. Those are super trendy, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, Sarah, for behind the scenes, do you focus on shooting your content mainly vertically, or do you still shoot some content horizontally as well?
Both. I think for behind the scenes specifically, I use the vertical screen recording most of the time, but sometimes I would do the horizontal as well. But for performances, all of my performances videos are actually horizontal, and then I just make it into a vertical whenever I post it. So that's something very interesting to see as well. Like even my recent dance film, High Ties, it's being shot all in horizontal, and then I find a way to crop it into vertical to post it on just for social media. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. We do the same, but after our last show with Mixed Emotus, it was last May, so a year ago, I was wondering like, man, I wish we would have recorded also like the whole show on our phones or vertically as well, so we could have the content to pull from. Because I don't know if you feel this, but sometimes editing, like the horizontal videos to fit in the vertical frame, you miss some of the cool parts that are happening, or you have to pick one part of the stage to actually show. And so that's just something that I've been thinking a lot about lately.
Yeah, I do have the same problem too. So what I do with that is I just pick another part where they're more centered of the screen. So I usually aim for those footage as
Make it
going back
easier.
to going back to the question of which clip to use it. So whatever footage or whatever part that the dancers are more center of the screen. But behind the scenes wise, I think we do almost all vertical, so that we can post it.
Sarah, I want to shift gears a little bit. The theme for the No Box Dance Film Festival last year, which was in 2023, was dances of past, present, and future. And so our festival highlighted how dance and film can help us reflect on our collective past, gain insight on our present, and imagine our future. And opening the festival here in Dallas, we screened 3 of your films that represented the past, present, and future of TranScend motion. And I would love to talk to you about what are you seeing as, we talked a little bit in regards to social media, but what are the trends you're seeing with dance and technology in 2024? And then maybe we could talk about the future too. Where do you think it's going?
Yeah, some of the trends I'm seeing with dancing and technology in 2024 is the use of sound. I think sound can be an interesting collaborations in terms of choreographic work. There are some works this year I've recently seen, that people are making their rehearsal sounds or their movement sounds.
ASMR.
Yeah, ASMR. But a lot of times it's body, when they move, they make, yeah. And then clapping in the body or sounds that you purposely, intentionally, verbally make with your breath and things like that. And I feel like that's something I've been seeing, that they recorded those raw sound and then make it into a track, a file that actually now bounced back to making sound and then recording and then making movement to those sounds. So that's what I've been seeing with the dance in connection with technology. And then with those sounds recording, they add different sounds and then different repetition patterns to, manipulating those sounds to make it very rhythmic. And then they make movement to it, which is something really cool that I've been seeing. And then moving forwards with dance and technology, I think there's going to be a lot of use within the visual aspects of things. I think I'm thinking more of live stage works. Film works too, but specifically live stage work. I think I'm thinking about mixed modus works right now, but a lot of projections, a lot of ways to utilize 2 dimensions visual at the same time. So they're dancers on the live stage, but also something that's pre-recorded or a different graphics are being shown on the projector screen. And then how can they play between the real time and recorded materials at the same time. So that's what I'm seeing. That's where the dance and technology world will progress in the future.
Yeah, I think what I'm seeing too, and what we've talked a lot about on this season, is the impact of artificial intelligence, both on the current, and on the future. And I'm particularly interested in AI as a means for developing content like you're talking about to then project on and create these immersive environments on the stage. But I'm wondering, how are you thinking about the impact of AI? On this podcast, we've also talked about the administrative side of AI, which has been great, and the impact it can have on the dance world in that capacity, but I would love to know your thoughts.
Yeah, I think this is a super interesting area to dive into. I will say that I don't have much knowledge or experience with the AI world and incorporate it with my work just
You're
yet.
not
Maybe
on ChatGPT. What dance move should we do next?
maybe in the future, I would be so interested in it with the resource, if I have the resource. But I think the impact of AI in dance, I think moving forward is that an interesting part of it is that we could also make everything in real time. I think that would be something very interesting. It's not pre-recorded or it's not pre-created in pre-production, but there can be real time things that's happening on the screen and on stage, or even like graphics, drawing. Yeah. I don't know. I can imagine a dancer on stage would be painting on the screen in real time, but through movement. I don't know, an AI painting or something like that. I don't know. But that would be something very interesting to see that concept, or not just painting, but that's just an example. Other things as well, or like different locations, but in real time. Like there's like audiences able to see something it's being executed in different locations at the same time, which is something probably really cool to see. I don't know how that works, but that's something I would imagine.
Sarah, how do you say no to the box?
Saying no to the box, I think this for me means that staying true to my work and being confident and carrying that confidence and have agency in my own work and being proud of it and take pride in it, despite if there is approval or validation from others.
Flash 4.
To wrap up, we have our Flash 4, where we ask all our guests to answer 4 questions in a flash. So as fast as possible. Are you ready?
Okay.
Here we go. If you had to recommend a resource to our audience, what would it be?
I would recommend a podcast, or he also has books, and his name is Jordan Peterson.
What was the first dance you saw?
My first dance that I saw, I don't know if this is accurate, but I have to remember back to the earliest thing that I can remember is a program called Paris by Night.
Do you think social media has a positive influence on the dance world? Yes or no?
Yes.
What is your favorite social media platform?
Instagram.
Sarah, it has been such a treat having you on the podcast and getting to learn a lot more about TranScend Motion. Is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with today?
I would just say stay true to your art.
And how can our listeners stay connected with you and TranScend Motion?
We are on Instagram and Facebook at TranScend Motion, and then our website is called transcendmotion.com.
Thank you, Sarah. Again, it was such a treat having you on the podcast. Congratulations on everything that you're doing and your company. I can't wait to have you back on the podcast in another few years and see how far you continue to grow. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun talking to you.
Dance Behind the Screen podcast is produced by No Box Dance, an art service organization that creates, collaborates, and discusses art with artists and the public. Dance Behind the Screen podcast is co-hosted by Azaria Hogans, Raina Mondragon, Marthea Nygaard, and Yejin Choi, with sound design by Daniel Rosas.
Thanks for taking your time to tune into Dance Behind the Screen, a bi-monthly interview series where we go behind the screen to question process, product, and social media. Be sure to follow us on social media at KNOW Box Dance. See you next time, and don't forget to say no to the box.